Good evening, viewers. Welcome to this session. Shekhar ji is back with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Minaji, to have me back.
Yeah. So, sir, there's been a lot of activity happening the last week, and in fact, in a major security breach in the Lok Sabha on Wednesday, the 22nd anniversary of the Parliament attack. Two intruders jumped into the Lok Sabha from the visitors' gallery and started running around the house. The proceedings of the Lok Sabha was suspended, and the MPs started coming out of the Lok Sabha. There was a commotion as the intruder, wearing a blue jacket, was found roaming inside the Lok Sabha. The MPs and the security caught hold of the man and started interrogating them. As MPs came out of the Lok Sabha, they said the intruders were spraying some kind of a gas. And Congress MP Karthi Chidambaram said the two men, around 20 years of age, had canisters in their hands, and those canisters were emitting yellow smoke. One of them was attempting to run towards the speaker's chair. They were shouting some slogans. The smoke could have been poisonous. This is a serious breach of security, especially on 13 December, the day when Parliament was attacked, he said. Now, what do you think has happened, Shekhar ji? And what do you think are the color gas canisters which were used today? So, if you could just explain, what is somebody trying to send a message, and why is Shashi Tharoor pointing towards BJP?
No, Minaji, it baffles me because it's very difficult to breach the security of Parliament. After
Yes,
the 2001 attack on Parliament,
yeah,
the security has been made multi-layered. I mean, you
mm,
can't just get into Parliament. And obviously, these people have come as visitors, and
yes,
visitors require a pass which has to be endorsed by a member of Parliament.
mm,
Now, in this case, as preliminary investigations show, apparently it is Vijay Simha, the BJP MP from Mysore,
okay.
whose signature is there for issuing pass to these people.
You're talking about Pratap Sim?
Yeah, Pratap Simha.
Yeah,
Simha from Mysore.
yes, yes,
So the question is whether the member of parliament has since met the speaker also. He's also holding, I mean, he is talking to the police officials and others also as to how this could have happened, whether
mm,
he knew those people. Because one person who has been apprehended belongs to Mysore.
okay,
Now, the other outside parliament also, you had an incident where a couple
mm,
have been detained because a woman was seen shouting and releasing those gas from the canister. She
yes,
apparently belongs to Jind, Haryana.
okay,
And in all, four people have been detained so far. Probably more people were involved. And the slogans they shouted about black laws, about Tanashai nahi
mm,
chalegi, I mean, the slogans also seem to be quite vague, not any
mm,
particular cause.
mm,
Uh, but I cannot but think, only a few weeks ago you heard the Gurbat Singh Pannu, the Khalistan leader who is in America as well as in Canada, who holds a dual citizenship. He issued
yes,
a threat that the parliament would again be attacked.
yes,
You remember that he had
yes,
recently
yes,
given out threat and
very much,
about
yes,
whose life being threatened in the US
mm,
was made a big issue by the Americans. US
yes,
took it up with India saying that an attempt was made by people close to the Indian establishment trying to kill him.
mm,
And earlier, similar thing was said by Canada. Canada blamed Indian security agencies for death of a person of Indian origin, a Sikh person, a Sikh leader who is associated with Khalistan movement. I do
yes,
not know whether these are all connected, but since this happens after Pannu's, threat,
yes,
I don't know whether it is linked to that issue, but these people did not raise any slogans regarding Khalistan movement or anything. Now,
yes,
but definitely, Beenaji, one thing is clear: there is an attempt to divert attention. The
yes,
question is attention from what?
mm,
I will say two things. Two
mm,
things. That is why I am inclined to believe whoever has done this uh, would have to do something with the disappointment caused by these two things.
yes,
One is BJP's victory in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh.
absolutely, yeah, yeah,
That's one.
mm,
Second thing is the huge cash seizure
yes,
in places connected with the Jharkhand Congress MP, Dheeraj
yes,
Sahu.
mm,
That was hogging the headlines day after day for the last 4 5 days. We were seeing huge, and it has now already crossed 300 crores. They
yes,
say there are more houses to search. Only the other day
and
in
the
Parliament,
machines have also broken down now.
yeah, yeah, even the Home Minister said it on the floor of the House. 27 machines. And he said ये मशीनें गर्म हो गए हैं, मीनिंग मशीन गर्म होते हैं जैसे फोटोकॉपियर, you keep on taking copies,
Yes,
the machine becomes गर्म.
yeah,
This machine गर्म is very Indian phenomena, machine गर्म हो जाते हैं.
yeah,
And यहाँ पे the counting machines are गर्म, and they had to replace 27 machines. God
yes,
knows how many machines they had to bring in.
yes,
And you saw how Congress went on the defensive, trying to
yeah,
say that
mm,
we have nothing to do with this. It is for him to explain. Yet they were not taking action on him.
yes.
So I'm just
Also, do
wondering
you
as
think
to
Mahua Moitra's expulsion is also could be one of the triggers?
no, that may not be triggers, but those were the which were dominating headlines. They were
Yes,
dominating public, particularly the money seizure,
yes,
for which Congress was on the defensive, and
mm,
a lot of pictures were appearing how this particular MP, Congress member of Parliament, was had financed the Congress this Bharat Jodo Yatra of Rahul
yeah,
Gandhi,
mm,
was seen in the company of Rahul Gandhi,
mm,
and he operates from three states, and no, he is a MP from Jharkhand, but he has businesses in Odisha as well, in Chhattisgarh as well. So, I mean, I do not know whether this is an attempt at diversion of attention
mm,
or what is it.
yeah,
We do not know. So,
yeah,
therefore, I'm really surprised. Is this an attempt to divert attention?
okay,
Because I can't see how the government would want any attention to change, because there was the verdict on Article 370. Before that, you had the fantastic verdict coming from the three states,
yeah,
which has given a big boost to BJP.
mm,
Now, following this, now you are seeing how the transition has happened. New chief minister have been announced. So I just wonder who would want, actually attention to be diverted, because obviously these four people cannot be the ones. Uh, the claims. I mean, cannot be behind what these people are doing. There has to be a bigger group, and there
yeah,
has to be a bigger price for
mm,
executing such a project.
yeah. And the very fact that see Shashi Tharoor has jumped into the fray to accuse BJP, and also Kharge has also said that see BJP should respond. So which means that see they want to point out that BJP is responsible when they could be behind it. They could themselves be behind it.
No, the Jind correction is pointing figures at Haryana people.
Yes,
Haryana people they had also backed, Haryana leaders had backed this, the farmers' protest also. They were behind Shaheen Bagh protest. They were behind the ex-servicemen on one rank patient, one rank, one pension.
yes.
They were behind the wrestlers issue also, you
Okay.
remember?
Oh, all these things.
See, all the road protests,
Hmm.
whenever, somehow tried, now that the elections are going to take place in the next 4 months,
Hmm.
and I can see some ground level activity in an attempt to
Hmm.
show that, particularly they have to divert attention from the verdicts that has come from Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh, which are a very big disappointment for the Congress,
Yes.
even though the consolation prize was Telangana.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Congress is unable to extricate itself from the situation in these three states, and particularly the entire North India.
Yes.
I mean, I do not know who is behind this, because there has to be a motive, and these people, for want of an employment, you don't take a risk of going into the parliament, carrying with you kind of material which you should not carry. You can't carry mobile phones.
And
But
what are these
above all,
canisters? Yeah.
Meenaji, I do agree there has to be a security breach, because
Yes.
how did these people manage to take it,
Mm.
or were these things given to them inside the parliament?
Yes.
Because it's also possible that they went through the normal screening and
Yes.
somebody handed it over to them inside.
But even the person inside how would he have got it inside?
Unless that person happens to be another member of parliament or a member of parliament himself,
Yes.
and
Yes.
probably managed to sneak it in.
Yes.
Because now this is going to throw up a Pandora's box, because
Mm.
there are going
Mm.
to be a lot of questions.
Mm.
Because already, as we speak now, 5 people have been detained in this correction.
Okay. Okay.
The four are the people who were, in the house. I
Mm.
mean, four are the people. Two went into the house, intruded into
Okay.
the house.
Yeah.
And normally, Binaji, you can't easily jump from the visitors gallery
Yeah.
to the,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and without breaking your arms
Yeah. Ankle
and
or
limbs, rather, without breaking your limbs. It's not easy.
jumping like a monkey. Yes.
It's not easy unless you're practiced at this kind of free fall.
Ah,
So
absolutely.
therefore, there are a lot of questions. But whatever is coming now, that this has been on the works for the last 3 4 months. That's what the latest investigations are saying. I think there will be more disclosures, and this is bound to embarrass a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think also the from now on, they'll be more strict, in checking the people who enter the.
So already the
Mm.
security was tight, because since the last and and today happens to be the anniversary of that incident. And
Yes.
Meenaji, I happened to be inside Parliament on the day this took place.
Oh.
Eh, when this
uh,
December
yeah.
13, 2001, when the Parliament attack
Oh,
happened, I
please
was
tell
in.
us about what happened that time. Yes.
So that is, I know the Parliament had adjourned. Those ways, a lot of hangama was going on. Vajpayee ji was Prime Minister,
Yeah.
and normally the House would have adjourned for lunch around one ish.
Yes.
But that day, the House adjourned little earlier.
Yeah.
So the timing was somewhat unusual thing happened. And these
Yeah.
people who had planned attacks were
Uh,
connected with the Kashmiri separatists. They
yes.
were watching it on the television, and they
Uh,
waited for the House to adjourn so that they could drive in at that time.
okay.
And with a car which had a fake sticker,
Mm.
and they wanted to come in and ram it, and at the same time try to kill as many members of parliament as possible. So
Okay.
the doors were locked, we were inside, and after that, everybody, the leaders retreated to their respective chambers. They told to not to leave the house, and all the doors were closed. And after the operations were complete, then these separatists who had come in, they had left behind some explosives which had to be, you know,
Diffused.
what do you
Yeah.
call it?
Yeah.
They had to be
Diffused.
diffused.
Yeah.
So these are, I mean, it is a, I can remember, but there was a lot of calmness shown. Everybody was concerned. The response was united,
Mm.
and you can see that, and how at least more than 10 people lost their lives.
Yes. Was it the same time when Rajdeep Sadesai said, "Close the doors, only we want to have the coverage"? Was that the same incident?
No, I know, but there were a lot of course, the media people were told to go inside
Hmm.
and not to hang around. And of course, some people managed to, who were left, were outside, had to catch the situation, and a lot of it was caught on camera, the firing.
Okay. Hmm.
But we were inside because the doors had closed,
Hmm.
and the only thing, the parliament had adjourned before the timing. That
Yes.
is why, otherwise these people would have come with much more precision
Yes.
to create a mayhem. That did not
Hmm.
happen, fortunately. But
Yeah.
it was the audacity of this attack, which was planned by Pakistan
Yeah.
through its handlers, and
Yeah.
that is why you saw a response from the Atal Ji's government, which
Yeah.
became very serious.
Hmm.
So we had a military exercise was mounted to send a warning that Parliament attack would not be taken lightly.
Yes. So, what were your feelings at that time when you were there? Could you tell us what you went through?
The first week, I could not understand why the doors were closed,
Yeah.
but then we could hear the gunshots.
Mm.
Then we knew that an attack was indeed taking place. And Advaniji's first worry was Sonia Gandhi.
Mm.
He wanted to know, where is Sonia Gandhi?
Okay.
Where were these leaders?
Uh,
Because the worry
the
was that
reason being? The reason being?
the reason being, though, whether the opposition, because many of the ministers were inside,
Okay.
that nobody was caught in the crossfire, nobody is leaving the house or yet to arrive. So this is a kind of situation where every member of parliament, every leader was worried about others,
Hmm.
wondering whether they were safe, where they
Hmm.
were, what was the location. Nobody knew. But by the time reinforcements arrived, you had, I think, in another about, say, within an hour. I mean, you had a lot of, apart from national security guards, you had central parliamentary forces. And of course, finally, army commandos moved in to
Yes.
completely sanitize the area. And by
Yes.
evening, this
Hmm.
happened around close to around, say, before noon, shortly before noon. And by the time, say, by 5:30, it was clear that the bombs had been defused, and they had made a count of the people who had fallen into these terrorists, and
Hmm.
also the number of terrorists killed. And that was a chapter, I think, many parliamentarians would remember, because many of them were in the portico, and somehow they were all pushed back in,
Yeah.
back, and the
Yeah.
door was shut.
Hmm.
Because the first task of the security people was to see that the terrorists don't enter the parliament,
Yeah.
because there would be a lot more sitting in
Like
the
a
central hall
carnage.
of parliament,
Yes.
and and
Yes.
that could have led to a lot of, I would say, killing. It would have been a
Mm,
complete massacre of Indian
yes.
parliamentarians, because that was the
Mm,
idea of these people who came in.
mm. Very, very scary.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
And what do you think are these color gas canisters that they used, Shekharji?
No, I do not know whether these canisters are the ones that are sometimes used in some shows. I mean, normally you have color smokes
Okay.
blowing out.
Yeah.
I mean, whether they are those kind of, because
Mm,
it didn't seem to have any, because ones that were burst inside the house also.
mm,
You have just shown pictures where
yeah.
there are gas coming out inside the house.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think those gas were. I mean, they were very toxic. There
Mm,
was no talk because no member of
yeah.
parliament was affected. And
Yes.
Rahul Gandhi was sitting inside the house. You can see in one
Okay.
of those pictures,
Oh,
he is actually looking at what was happening. He was
okay.
inside.
Okay.
Rahul Gandhi was inside. And so you can see that, of course, Prime Minister was not there.
Yes.
So you can, but of course, but one thing is there, but the gas did not cause discomfort. So
Okay.
it more looks like the idea was to create an impact,
Scare. Yes.
scare, rather than to actually
Mm,
cause any damage.
absolutely. Yeah. So moving back to the election news, Shekharji, see, can you help us to decode BJP's selection of the three CMs and the process, the secrecy, and the kind of surprise? People were absolutely taken, back by who were the people elected as CMs and the deputy chiefs.
Well, Meenaji, the first thing is people are talking about Madhya Pradesh.
Yes.
They are surprised, with that kind of victory in Madhya Pradesh. Perhaps Shivraj Singh Chauhan could have got a fifth term. But I think the concern in the Prime Minister's mind and also in the top levels of BJP leadership is, look, there was indeed a severe anti incumbency factor working in Madhya Pradesh.
Yes.
And yes, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, in his tenure of more than 19 years, 18, 19 years, has done a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
particularly the development side. He had implemented several schemes on the ground, and some schemes like Ladli Behna to take care of the girl child is completely credited to him. Even the central leadership of the party credits him. But the problem was also there was a fatigue factor involved. Now, that fatigue factor was mitigated to a great extent because the Prime Minister undertook an intensive campaigning, particularly the tribal areas, in all those places which are considered Congress hold. And what the result we saw was a combined result. The Prime Minister's intensive campaigning, Shivraj himself managed to overcome the fatigue factor and other anti-incumbent issues involving himself as well as other ministers. And finally, you saw a verdict that completely was a huge setback for the Congress. Now, the question is, the Prime Minister has been very keen that where the CMs have done, more than 3 terms or 4 terms, there is a need to induct new faces, bring in more energy into the government, more energy into the party. This is
Yes.
something he has been very open about it, whether it comes to his student council of ministers, that he has been constantly reducing to the average age of the ministers so that they have more energy to focus on work and on deliveries. This is something the Prime Minister has been saying. So the question was about Madhya Pradesh was Shivraj Singh had done already, 4 terms. Had he become chief minister again, it would have been fifth term. But the challenge before the party was that Lok Sabha elections are coming. In the 2019 election, BJP had won 28 of the 29 Lok Sabha seats from Madhya Pradesh. And the target that has been set is that BJP should win 29 seats.
Mm,
Now, in order to do that, you need to bring in energy. And the
yes.
Prime Minister believes in taking risks.
Mm,
Risks in the sense he feels there has to be a change. This is the best time to effect a change. Therefore, a leader who is also close to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who has served in the government of Shivraj Singh Chauhan,
mm,
and who is the MLA from South Ujjain,
mm,
that is the place where the Mahakal temple is located, and he was chosen. Now
yes.
he is known as a very aggressive minister. He was higher
Mm,
education minister,
mm,
and he has also has a commitment to Hindutva issues,
mm,
and he belongs to OBC. He is a Yadav. Now Yadavs are a very important community, not just in Madhya Pradesh but also in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and with Congress, trying to make a OBC an issue, trying
yes.
to promise caste-based census and all. So the party felt, at least the Prime Minister felt, that this was a time to effect a change, but it has to be OBC based.
Mm,
Therefore, we are not surprised that Mohan Yadav was chosen. Of course, it was a surprise. Even it was a surprise for Mohan Yadav
Hmm.
because he himself did not expect it that party would choose him for this task. But
Hmm.
this has always happened. BJP
Hmm.
has always experimented with new faces.
Yes.
Whether when Shivraj Singh Chauhan came to Madhya Pradesh,
Hmm.
way back, I'm
Hmm.
talking of almost 2 decades ago,
Hmm.
he was a newcomer. He was a BJP secretary, national
Yes.
secretary, and he was chosen to come because being from the farmers family who
Hmm.
knew the ground situation very well, and he turned out to be a success.
Yes.
So that is one side. Of course, personally, Shivraj Singh Chauhan may be disappointed, maybe wanting, well, I could have created a record of being 5 times Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. That's possible. And also yesterday, Ginaji, a question was asked by the media people, would
Yes.
you be going to Delhi?
Hmm.
Would you be seeking election to the Lok Sabha? To which he replied,
Hmm.
that reply has received lot of traction. He said, "Look, I will not go anywhere to ask anything from anyone. I would rather
Yes.
prefer death than ask anyone. But
Yes.
at the same time, I'm a loyal soldier of the party.
Yeah.
Party has given me so much. I have been chief minister largely because the party chose me." He said all that. But of course, somewhere along there may be disappointment. I mean, this
Yes.
kind of statements also reflects. But then people reconcile. You cannot be chief minister forever. You
Yeah.
cannot be in a position forever. That is happening in corporate situations also. People have to one day hang their boots.
Yes.
So so therefore I think but it's important there is a transition. Mohan Yadav is close to Shivraj. Now coming to
Hmm.
Chhattisgarh is the most, I would say, significant of the choices of the prime minister, because your Vishnu Dev Sai is a tribal chief minister,
Hmm.
and you can say Chhattisgarh has got the tribal chief minister for the first time. Now, I'm
Yes.
emphasizing on first time because people would say, what about Ajit Jogi? Now, Ajit Jogi's tribal status was always disputed because he used to even tell me I belong to Satanami. And Satanami, he would say is a tribe. Sometimes at wherever wanted, he would say it's a scheduled caste. And in August of 2019, Meenaji would recall, Ajit Jogi's caste, this tribal certificate, certificate
Hmm.
regarding his tribal status was found to be fake
Okay.
2019.
Hmm.
So you can see, what has happened in this case. So truly Vishnu Dev Sai, the first tribal chief minister. Second
Yes.
thing about Vishnu Dev Sai is he has a clean image.
Hmm.
There is no controversy about him.
Hmm.
And he is also close to Dr. Raman Singh,
Hmm.
who was chief minister for 3 terms, and who will be the assembly speaker. So he's
Yeah.
going to be very much in Chhattisgarh, who will be able to guide him also. And the other fact is he has been 4 times MP. He has worked in the state also. He was head of the Chhattisgarh BJP unit. So he
Hmm.
has a bit of experience of organization and other things. And besides that, they have given two deputy chief ministers. That is an OBC face, that is Arun Saw, who was the
Yes.
state BJP president, and
Yes.
as well as Vijay Sharma. Vijay Sharma is again a person, the BJP has managed to take care of the OBC, tribal, as well as the Hindutva plank, because
Yes.
Vijay Sharma is associated with the Hindutva plank. So
Yes.
that is how they have chosen there. Now
Hmm.
coming to Rajasthan, I think that is where all the oil balls were cast. What
Yes.
would happen to Vasundhara, and whether
Yeah.
Vasundhara Raje would accept
Yes.
a transition. But from what we are seeing is a first timer has been chosen, a first timer whom I understand is also close to Vasundhara Raje. That is
Hmm.
Bhajanlal Sharma, belongs to
Yes.
Bharatpur. Though
Yes.
and Bharatpur is an area close to Raje. She hails
Yeah.
from Bharatpur. She belongs to the Bharatpur royal family. Now, he contested from Sangner, which is a part of Jaipur, and first time MLA. But then he has been an
Yeah.
organizational man. He was known to Nadda, and the idea was, the question is, why a Brahmin chief minister? Now
Hmm.
Brahmin, you see, Rajasthan has a very peculiar caste configuration.
Hmm.
Brahmins don't matter big in terms of numbers in Rajasthan,
Hmm.
but as far as the caste, tussle is concerned in Rajasthan, Brahmins are considered the neutral caste,
Okay.
because the Jats and Meenas and
Hmm.
Thakurs will not accept each other as a person of any other community as a chief minister.
Okay.
If you had put a Thakur chief minister, it would have been challenged. Meenas would be unhappy because of historical reasons.
Hmm.
Or similarly, if you had put a Jat chief minister, Meenas would be unhappy, Thakurs would be unhappy. So
Okay.
that is the kind of situation. Rajasthan has had 7 Brahmin chief ministers since
Oh.
inception.
Mm,
And even during Congress time, whenever there was scuffle between these various community groups,
mm,
they would prefer a Congress nominee, I mean, a Brahmin leader, who would be more acceptable to people. It is
mm,
not so about of giving importance to a Brahmin candidate. Rather, it is to balance these caste equation. That's why he was
mm,
chosen.
mm,
Now, Vasundhara Raje would have loved a third term if she had become, but I think somewhere along she also realized Prime Minister is keen on a change.
mm,
Now, the big question is what will happen to the future of Vasundhara Raje and Shivraj Singh Chauhan?
mm, mm.
These are fairly young
Yeah, so
leaders.
before you go on to that, I just want to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about Diya Kumari?
Yeah, Diya Kumari belongs to the Jaipur royal family. Her father, Colonel Bhavani Singh, was a Congress member of parliament, and her grandfather was Man Singh the two, who
Mm,
is also the husband of Maharani Gayatri.
mm.
Maharani Gayatri Devi is a step grandmother, if I can use
Okay.
that term.
So by
So
lineage, she is royalty?
yeah, that's basically the Jaipur, the royal family. She belongs to Jaipur, but she has been active as a parliamentarian.
Yes.
She has represented, she was representing Rajasthan in the Lok Sabha. She was a
Okay.
member of parliament. She was asked to resign and contest elections. So
Yeah.
you can see that by
And I think she
giving,
won a lot of votes also.
yeah, she won a lot of votes. I think more than 44,000 votes.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and 44,000 is a big number when it comes to an assembly constituency.
Yes.
And basically, her representation will largely satisfy the Thakur families,
Mm,
the Thakur voters or the Rajput voters of Rajasthan.
yeah. 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 You
Yeah,
were moving on to.
yeah. I was talking about the question is what is the future of Vasundhara Raje Scindia and Shivraj Singh Chauhan?
Yes.
Now, these
Yes.
are two young leaders. One is 68, another is just 70.
Yeah.
So I think these are, I mean, they are too young to, you can to write them off or to say that, I would expect they may be involved in central BJP
Yeah.
politics. They
Mm,
will get a role which will take account of that because even in 2014, Minaji,
mm.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji had wanted Vasundhara to join his cabinet
Yes.
when he had become for the first time prime minister. In fact, uh, from what I understand, in fact, I can be very sure about it also that Vasundhara Raje was offered the post of defense minister
Yes.
if she could shift from Rajasthan to, but at that time she was not keen to leave Rajasthan because she was sitting chief minister and she felt that she need to continue and complete the tenure. That is why she did
Yes.
not come. But I think in the new scenario, uh, these leaders may be required to contest Lok Sabha elections, and maybe they will be involved in the central leadership where the Prime Minister will again be keen to
Yeah.
bring more new faces.
Yeah.
Shivraj ji has been particularly been working regarding farmers' welfare, development of agriculture. There is a possibility he may shift to center and maybe as the new agriculture minister in the post 2024 scenario, election
Yeah.
scenario.
Yes. Coming to the Article 370, sir, it's a tribute to Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. Why has there been so much of attack by opposition on this? And could you tell us one of the reasons, some of the reasons why it will benefit people as well? So if you can just talk to the viewers about this.
See, the whole this that the Article 370 was a temporary provision of the Constitution. It was largely brought because Pandit Nehru wanted it in order to please Sheikh Abdullah. It was
So what
something to
was
do
it? If
with
you could just explain in a few words.
basically to see that Sheikh Abdullah, because those days the chief minister of Kashmir was called prime minister premier,
Yes. Yes.
and the idea was that a post accession after Maharaja had signed the instrument of accession,
Yeah.
the whole idea was that it should be smooth. But then somehow Sheikh Abdullah was creating a problem, and Nehru probably thought with the invaders, Pakistan had sent invaders who wanted to occupy Kashmir Valley,
Yeah.
but they
Yes.
were driven away by Indian army, which reached in time.
Yeah.
But Nehru unfortunately went for a ceasefire, so the portions that were held by the Pakistan at that time in
Mm.
1947, they became the what we know today known as Pak occupied areas.
Yes.
But regarding Abdullah, Sheikh Abdullah has been a very, very sharp politician. He has dealt with Nehruji, he dealt with Indira Gandhi, and same Nehru got upset with him, even got him jailed because he used to play truant. So the whole that idea was something to do with the friendship. And Nehru, wanted to deal with Kashmir himself because he felt that Kashmir was close to him since his ancestors belonged to Kashmir. I think
Yes.
there lay the problem, because had it been handled by Sardar Patel, many people say that things could have been sorted out better, like the way the Hyderabad was handled, where Junagadh was handled. These were also princely states. There were no problem. I mean, if there was a problem, they were put down. But Kashmir became a such that Article 370 suddenly began to develop more life, and over the years, it was taken advantage by separatists, it was taken advantage by forces operating from across the border, and made out as this is the identity of Jammu and Kashmir, whereas it was a temporary provision. And finally, it was sometime in the 90s, early 90s, 91, 92. That's the time when BJP has been making it an issue. You mentioned about Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Shama
Yes.
Prasad Mukherjee was a West Bengal leader, Jansangh leader,
Founder of the Janasangh. Yes.
yeah, and he was also a member of the Nehru's cabinet. On the
Yes.
issue of Article 370, he resigned. And he said, how can you have within India a provision for two constitutions, two flags, and two emblems?
Yes.
Because that is what the Jammu Kashmir state had.
Mm.
So until 370 was removed, because he used to say, you cannot have do nishan, do vidan, in one, and in one country. You cannot have two things, two constitutions, two emblems, two flags. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this was actually a big issue that kept on. But unfortunately, Prasad Mukherjee died when he was marching towards Srinagar, and subsequently also policies that were pursued by Congress government somehow encouraged a kind of alienation. Other
Mm.
people could not go easily there, they could not do business there, they cannot
Mm.
settle down there, and that encouraged. But government of India completely took care of the budget of Jammu Kashmir,
Mm.
and the money that government of India spent on any state,
Mm.
it will be far lesser than what has been spent in Jammu Kashmir.
Yes.
So that is how, so in the 90s, the BJP thought of a Ekta Yatra.
Mm.
Because this Article 370 has been one of, I would say, Article 370, the Ram Janmabhoomi, your Uniform Civil Code, these are core issues, both with the Jansangh as well as with Bharatiya Janata Party. So
Yes.
in 91, 92, the Ekta Yatra was started when Murli Bharat Joshi was the president of the party, and he undertook a yatra from Kanyakumari.
Mm.
The person who was in charge of organizing that yatra was Narendra Modi
Okay.
as a BJP functionary. And when they reached Srinagar, they were advised by authorities, you go back. There is tension in Lal Chowk in Srinagar. You cannot hoist a flag. Then finally, Narasimha Rao ordered the authorities to ensure that some of these people are taken at a security guard, national flag is hoisted, as if it had to be done by the sly.
Yeah.
And it was done, early hours before the Srigar woke up, and they were asked to return.
Mm.
That particular episode stuck in the mind of Narendra Modi, as he
Mm.
still has that look. This whole idea that that a part that has now been merged with the rest of the country,
Mm.
somehow we have to treat as some other region, as
Yes.
if we do not have full rights.
Mm.
This has promoted alienation, and Prime Minister made up his mind when
Mm.
he took office in 2014. And you will
Mm.
recall 2014, after he took over, there were floods in
Mm.
Srinagar, in
Yes.
Kashmir. The
Yes.
Jhelum breached the banks.
Mm.
That time, Prime Minister visited Kashmir,
Mm.
and he assured lot of help. He immediately announced 1,000 crores.
Mm.
Lot of relief and rehabilitation was provided, and subsequently asked his ministers to frequently visit Jammu Kashmir.
Mm.
The feedback that was got was the bigger issue was not about the question of the political solution, which was constantly, raked up. See, during Vajpayee's time, Vajpayee
Mm.
said any solution has to be found from, Kashmiriyat, Jamhuriyat, or Insaniyat. That
Yes.
means within the democracy, keeping the identity of Kashmir, and as well as from the question of humanity. But
Yes.
then you have seen even how Pandits were completely driven out of Srinagar, from Srinagar,
Yes.
Kashmir Valley during in the 90s, early 90s. And the whole problem was the religion. Just
Yes.
because the majority of the people belong to a particular religion, the separatists were having a heyday there, and they didn't want anybody else to settle down, so that region becomes and constant attempt was made for Islamization of that region.
Yes.
So therefore, when Article 370 was removed, it was an article of faith. It was a commitment from Prime Minister personally, and BJP's commitment. It was very much part of the manifesto. And BJP has always said whatever is written in the manifesto is to be implemented, not
Yes.
for show. And that even in the case of Pokhran too, Meenaji, you would remember Vajpayee, as soon as he took office, he gave the go ahead, which previous prime
Yes.
ministers could not, because of
Mm.
pressure from the Western countries.
Yes.
Now, what is surprising me is now that it is over, Congress had put its lawyer leaders to fight the case. Now the Congress is, saying that because basically they were opposed to remove Article 370.
Yes.
Following the judgment, they say, look, we are not talking about that, though individually our leaders are even promising the return of Article 370 if they
Yeah.
come back to power.
Yeah.
And the so-called Gupkar alliance, that is alliance of PDP, of Mehbooba Mufti, National Conference of Abdullahs, they are assuring people they will bring back Article 370. But we all know it cannot be brought back, because if you have to bring back Article 370, if you
Yeah.
want to again restore the status of Jammu Kashmir, you will have to move a constitutional amendment which would require two-thirds of members of parliament of both the houses passing that, and also it has to be endorsed by 15 states. I do
Mm.
not see which day the Congress and other opposition parties will have such a majority to bring it back. So therefore, this is just. But then, why are people still stuck with a
Mm.
thing that only
Absolutely.
alienated,
Yeah.
that was used by separatists,
Mm.
that was used by inimical forces?
Mm.
And Supreme judgment is clear that when the
Mm.
provision was temporary, what's a big deal about its big removal? It was
Yes.
supposed to serve a particular time, and it was
Yeah.
thought of because of a political solution.
Yeah. Absolutely. Moving on to the last point, sir. See, when in the case of Disha Salian, Fadnavis had said that they would do an SIT investigation last year, but ever since then it has not moved. But only now the movement has started, and they've appointed some top police officers to investigate. Now, my question to you, sir, is that see, if it was if they had said that they're going to do it, why was there a gap of 1 year? And now also another question is that see, can't these police officers also be influenced, as in the case of other federal agencies who are taking so much time to prove the SSR case?
Well, Meenaji, the fact that a big decision has been taken, I mean, because the way CBI concluded the case of Sushant Singh Rajput, and where they did not see any reason to pursue the course of homicide, and that is why that case had reached that point. But subsequently, there have been people who have had apprehensions about the death of Sushant Singh Rajput as well as uh,
Disha Salian.
Disha Salian. So
Mm,
now that matters have been brought there,
mm,
and I understand Devendra Fadnavis as Home Minister had got a further police report on this, intelligence report on this, whether does it merit an investigation, and finally a decision has been taken. Well, we may have to relook at this so that everybody concerned is assured of, that justice will be done. So
mm,
that is the reason the matter has again come. Now
mm,
let us see what is the course of investigation. Who are the people who will be investigated? Because
mm.
both the deaths were very unfortunate,
Yes,
and the fact that this girl fell off from, I think, 18th floor.
that is what they're saying.
That's what they are
Mm.
saying, and
Alleged, alleged, yeah,
yeah, suppose the sequence of events, who were present in
yeah,
the party, what
yeah.
happened, many
Mm,
VIPs involved. Now,
yes,
well, I think we'll have to wait and see how the investigation progresses, what new evidences are brought forth before the society, and people who claim that they know more about this should actually come forward and help the society, I would say,
mm,
because the air of mystery surrounding the unfortunate deaths
mm,
we need to be cleared.
yeah.
Maybe
And
new evidences will come, maybe new
right,
leads will come, new
yeah.
direction may come. But I'm not willing to speculate on this because this is a matter of police investigation.
Mm.
We'll have to wait and see how it progresses.
And also they have 15 days time to come up with something, so that is something positive. They, for us as in public,
Yeah,
people of our,
definitely, because
yeah.
they will look at already the investigation that were done,
Mm,
the postmortems that were done, what
mm,
kind of, whether the postmortems were held in time, because there has been complaint about the delay in postmortem also.
yes.
So whether everything was, were there forces which were out to suppress the truth in these cases?
Yes.
So we do not know. But of course, there are a lot of speculation. All those speculations, if you think of them, they are very hurting.
Yeah.
And they even try to tell you that probably the hand of the powerful and the mighty was at work. We do not know. But
Yes.
let us, I would say, let us wait for the investigation to proceed and look for some positive outcome.
Okay. Yeah. With that, we end the session. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session as usual. And we'll see you next week. Good night and Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Meenaji.
Good night, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.